I cut my drinking straw to about this size. It didn't have to be really big, but you don't want it too small and you don't want it too big. Because remember, your needles are only 8 inches long, and you're going to be putting them into the straw or your gauge. And I'm putting it in here because I'm trying to figure out how many is enough in there. And it has like a little gap. So I don't want it too loose. So I'm going to put a few more in here to make it a little bit snug. I just want a couple more. So like I said, I don't want it too loose, not enough, because then it doesn't give any gauge, or it doesn't, help as you move along. Okay, so this is a pretty good amount. So this is my amount that I have. So I'm going to put this aside, and then you're going to get your thread, and I'm using this Brazilian thread, and I'm going to start with the darker to put inside. And so they suggest what? A couple of yards. My grandmother did this. A couple of yards. And the reason why they suggest the Brazilian is because, remember I said before, it has a tendency not to get in a knot, to get tangled up. And so you want to get your pine needles, and you are going to tie this in a knot. Around the pine needles. Put it a little bit snug. You can put this in up in here and kind of wrap it around. So now we're going to, one escaped. So now we're going to wrap it, because this is going to be our base of how we start. And I'm just twirling it, as you can see. I'm going to put this down, and I'm just going to twirl it. I guess I'm going to get them together. They're snug. Don't worry about this, and we're going to cut it off. And we get some that we can start bending. Remember, this is the reason why we have soaked it in the water, so that you can have your pine needles bend without breaking. Let's go ahead and cut this off. See? I'm going to stop right there for the moment, and then I'm going to thread my needle. I'm just flattening it. And then we're going to bend it. And it's not enough to bend, so let's do some more. I think maybe a half a finger's worth. And then we've got our first little intersection. And then we're going to go in about halfway, and then go about halfway, so that we can kind of stitch it together here. just like with any embroidery or anything like that. See? Hope you can see it. You won't be going through this thickness on a regular basis. Now we have it down, so now we're going to take our thread and kind of just, this is like just sewing. And we're going to push it up through here. I may have to go get my pliers. Now we're going to do this and we're going to do it again. So when we get to the other part, I'm going to let you do this part, and then when we get to the other part, I'll turn it back on.